Hello, everyone. My name is Claire Bawiec, and this is my final project proposal for project management. This project is entitled Organize an Army Band Community Performance and Purchase Marching Show Band Uniforms. In this presentation, I will be discussing the introduction to the project charter, the simplified project proposal, the quality control plan, the work breakdown structure in different forms, the responsibility assignment matrix, the network diagram, the project schedule, the resource usage sheet, the estimated cost spreadsheet, the risk register, and the project conclusion. Beginning with the introduction, the Army of Bands has been a staple on our campus for over 25 years. This year, as part of my undergraduate studies, I am serving as the president of the Robert Morris University Bands and Performing Ensembles. Over the past year, our program has been through some major challenges, and I made it my goal as a leader to improve greatly under my term. In coordination with our new director of bands, one way in which we are looking to improve in the future is by purchasing new and more official uniforms for the marching show band. To improve our public image, retention rate, recruitment efforts, overall morale, and so much more, new uniforms are a step in the right direction. To help fund this new purchase, we will be collecting money through a combination of large donations and sponsorships and through a benefit performance to raise money. The performance schedule and the uniform approval and purchasing form the two phases of this proposed project. With these improvements and more, there are many groups who will benefit, beginning firstly with the band ourselves. Members will feel more appreciated and included as part of the university, not to mention the comfort and cost benefits that these uniforms will provide. The students in the university will benefit greatly from this improvement as well. With a more professional and cleaner look, our representation of the university will be even more recognizable for the community, incoming students, and even global audiences, depending on the performance. As representatives of the entire university and the pride of Colonial Nation, traditional marching band uniforms will make a huge difference. Moving on to the project charter. The project title, as stated previously, is Organize an Army Band Community Performance and Purchase Marching Show Band Uniforms. The purpose of this project is to improve the public image of the Army bands in the community and raise money for our cause. More specifically, the final purpose of this project is to not only raise awareness of the Army band's presence on campus, but to raise money for new uniforms to help us be more professional and relevant. This project consists of two phases. The first phase of the project will be planning the community performance and searching for donors. The second phase of the project will be using the money raised at the event to purchase new uniforms. Each of these phases and their respective tasks are detailed here on the slide. The objective of this project is to hold a community performance and find donors to raise $30,000 to purchase new marching show band uniforms by December 2025. The success criteria is to raise $30,000 in donations and fundraisers to purchase 60 complete marching show band uniforms. To keep our profits to a maximum with the unique role of money in this project, there's a budget of $3,700 from the sponsor, the Army Band Program. This money is used for the marketing activities and performance costs needed to raise the actual money towards the uniforms. As for major deliverables, the conclusion of this project will result in $30,000 raised, 60 uniforms purchased, and an increased community and campus presence. For acceptance criteria, the uniform design chosen must be agreed upon by 80% of the band, as well as the appropriate upper-level management. Again, 60 full uniforms must be purchased with the $30,000 raised. The milestone schedule presented here is a summary of the major project tasks to be completed. This project is set to be completed in December of 2025. For key assumptions, we assume that university leadership will be supportive and that all university permissions will be granted without issue. We also assume that the uniforms will be purchased with the raised money and that our performance venue will meet all necessary safety requirements. Some constraints for the project are the limited time and experience our project team brings to the table as students. Also, the scale of the project and our capabilities as a group our size may be difficult to achieve. Lastly, the venue capacity and other venue limitations are worth considering as well. There are many risks in this project to be analyzed, including university disapproval, budget overruns, and more. These will be discussed in greater detail in the risk register later on. For approval requirements, the project manager, director of bands, and project team will meet weekly to discuss updates and receive any approvals needed. Lastly, this project is authorized by Director of Bands, Mr. Brian Harris. This concludes the project charter. Next is a simplified project proposal. The customer, the Army bands, truly need support on RMU's campus, and new uniforms is one tangible way to give this support. This will help us have a more professional look and a more respectable campus presence. As discussed previously, we assume that university leadership will be supportive and help approve our project, that the uniforms will be purchased with the funds raised and donated, and that the venue will have all venue and permits secured. The project scope for this project consists of 5 parts. First is pre-event planning. This step consists of event planning, setting clear objectives for the remainder of the project, acquiring sponsors, launching a marketing campaign, and searching for donors. Second is event setup, consisting of decorations and volunteer coordination. Third is the band performances. This step consists of main performance organization and inclusion of intermissions. Fourth is post-event milestones, including communication following the event, a recap on social media, distribution of the raised funds, and feedback collection. Lastly, in the project scope is utilizing funds. This step consists of the final band and university uniform approvals, and finally, the purchasing. Next in the project proposal is deliverables. As discussed previously, this project will conclude with 60 fully complete marching band uniforms purchased and $30,000 raised. As for resources, this project will utilize the expertise of the project team, as well as our network of resources in student life and through the uniform manufacturer. The milestone schedule here is the same as discussed previously, simply showing the main project tasks for the performance in the uniform ordering process through December 2025. As for price, this project has a unique money structure. Our spending budget for the venue and advertising purpose is $3,700 plus a 10% budget reserve of $370. But we will be fundraising with a goal of $30,000, which is what will be used to purchase the actual uniforms. The risks outlined here are the same as the project charter and will also be discussed in more depth in the risk register. Lastly, the expected benefits of this project will be the $30,000 raised in donations, the 60 uniforms purchased, and the more cohesive perception of the Army Band. This concludes the simplified project proposal. Next up is the quality control plan. The purpose of this quality control plan is to outline standards for both phases of the Organize and Army Band Community Performance and Purchase Uniform project, as well as consequences and corrective actions, milestones, and review and approval of the overall plan. First, with quality standards is safety standards in the venue. Our selected venue must comply with all safety standards and meet all requirements for customer services and amenities. For our purchase uniform quality, each piece must meet specifications in material, color, size, branding, construction, and more. To monitor venue quality, we plan to conduct venue inspections to ensure technical and facility requirements are met. This will help in venue selection and confirmation through the planning process. To monitor product inspections, we plan to conduct a final quality check after the uniforms are delivered. We will also be working with the company as best as we can remotely in ordering multiple prototypes to ensure standards are being met along the way. Corrective actions for our quality plan are necessary for ensuring a positive and confident relationship with our supplier. If vendors or suppliers cannot meet our quality requirements, they will first be subject to a meeting with the team leads. Any quality issues following will be dealt with on a per-case basis. The quality control plan will be agreed upon by the entire project team, as well as the respective vendor and suppliers, prior to agreeing to sign as our providers. All stakeholders will be aware of and responsible for adherence to the quality plan. Next up in the project proposal is the work breakdown structure, for which I have developed multiple iterations. First is the indentured work breakdown structure. Developed in Excel, this format shows the tasks and corresponding outline numbers, each person responsible for each task, and end deliverables of each task. For example, the itinerary task, 2.1.2, is Brian's responsibility and will result in the schedule for the day of. Very similar to the indentured work breakdown structure is the Gantt chart work breakdown structure. This list corresponds directly to the indentured chart in the diagram on the following slide. This chart is taken directly from MS Project and is also a great way to visualize all of the project tasks and those responsible for them. The diagram work breakdown structure depicts the same project tasks in a more visual way, with each of the 5 main tasks branching into their respective subcategories. Next is the responsibility assignment matrix. The left 2 columns here correspond directly to the work breakdown structure, but the rest of the chart is new to the project plan. Each member of the project team's name is across the top of the matrix, and their respective responsibilities are below. The green P represents a primary responsibility, and the yellow S represents a secondary responsibility. For example, with the task of uniform approval, task 5.1, Claire has primary responsibility and Isabella has secondary responsibility. This matrix allows the project team to now know not only who is responsible for each task, but also in what capacity. Next up is the network diagram. The network diagram shows the interrelatedness and sequential nature of the project tasks. The network diagram also shows what tasks are being done simultaneously in a visual way. Each box indicates who is responsible and the number of work hours per task. One additional thing to note is the colors, with the red boxes indicating the critical path of the project. Very similar to the network diagram is the project schedule in the form of a Gantt chart. This less detailed visual schedule shows the length of time and person responsible for each task, as well as their interrelatedness in an easy-to-see and visual way. Note the critical path is also highlighted in red here. Next in the project plan is the resource usage sheet. This sheet is taken directly from MS Project and is used as a summary of work hours per individual on the project team. Because this is a student-led project, the work hours per week are estimated to be 6 hours on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays only, depicted on the right side of the screen. Though this project is not many hours comparatively, this is the reason it will take more than a year to complete. Overall, this sheet shows the work hours per work resource and their respective tasks. Next is the estimated cost spreadsheet. The estimated cost spreadsheet is another visual tool similar to the work breakdown structure, but with some additional cost information. Each activity is listed with the primary person responsible, the number of days and hours for the tasks, the labor rate, total labor costs, material costs, and finally total costs for the project. Again, because this is a student project, the only labor rates calculated are for tasks completed by Brian, our director of bands, because he is a university employee. The RMU band's total cost for the project is $3,700 plus the additional $370 for the budget extra surplus, plus Brian's pay for the duration of the project paid by the university, which is approximately $34,950. The final component of the project proposal is the risk register. In this table, spread across 2 slides, I have identified potential risks, their impact, their likelihood of occurrence, degree of impact, action on trigger, responsibility, and response plan. The red H's represent high likelihood of impact, the orange M's are medium, and the yellow L's are low. For example, on the second slide here, for the moderate performance risk, there is a medium likelihood of occurrence, but a low degree of impact. This means that though a potential risk, it is not of the highest priority. If this risk were to occur, David would be responsible for scheduling more rehearsals that after some rehearsals prove to be moderately successful before the performance is completed. To conclude this project proposal for the Organize an RMU Band community performance and purchase marching show band uniforms, the proposed benefits, performance, and uniform purchasing endeavor will enable the RMU bands to be more respected, comfortable, confident, and representative of Robert Morris University. With the implementation of both phases of this project, not only will we raise awareness of the RMU band program and its significance on campus, but we will raise money to purchase uniforms that support this very assertion. Establishing the RMU Marching Show Band as an integral part of Robert Morris's campus and college experience will better the program and the university in the long run. At the end of this process, the RMU bands will qualitatively have an increased community respect and connection. Quantitatively, the RMU bands will have raised a total of $30,000 through donors, sponsorship, and fundraising, and purchased 60 complete show band uniforms with the money raised. Overall, completion of this project will be complex, but the project plan and structure analyzed here will ensure that this project is a success for the RMU bands, the university, and the community. Thank you all for listening.